you doing, folks? I'm watching this high here, so we're gonna go short there. And yes, I'm trading with a paper trading account. You see that? Paper trading right here. Because I'm not a licensed trade advisor in the United States, they take it very serious when people are doing things with the marketplace. And I'm not licensed to give trade advice, so that's the reason why I'm teaching through the medium of the demo account. And also notice that I'm not employing the market replay. So I'm recording the whole screen so that it is this market rather is open. And it's a 1 minute chart. So the time matches 9:56, 9:56, next 57, 9:57 is the next candle that opens up right now. Okay, so there's 9:57, 9:57. My system time matches 9:57. There's a countdown to candlestick close. You don't get that with market replay. Notice that the time axis and the window border that shows the time actually, that's not separated by anything. But when you do market replay, it separates it. So the buy and sell window opens up down here. I'm not using market replay, and that little open green ball disappears, and you get this, which says it's starting point for market replay. So everything is live. It's real time. And I'm looking for 17,000 today. I mentioned earlier in the week in one of my usual haunts on YouTube that 17,000 has a lot of sell-side liquidity resting below it. In any rally today, and I view all of this here is they just keep taking highs, 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 highs. What they're doing is every single time a high is formed, like we had over here, it started with this. Okay, so we had the buy side resting here. They cleared that. Took sell side, trap traders short, and stopped out anyone that's long, so they can't profit from the Judas swing higher. Then you have this high, where they've cleared the buy side there, and for good measure, they've taken this high. They're out there, which clears up this. Okay, so that's what I was waiting for. So we had a lot of buy side taken out and purged. So now the target is right below here. So the next draw is this sell side, and more specifically, this one. So I'm going to take that off because I don't like using that kind of line. So just focus for right now. Right below here, okay? If it trades up to touch this right here, I'll teach that as a immediate rebalance, and it's also volume imbalance right in here. So I'm entering with the hot buttons in the upper left-hand corner. Again, that's something you can't do with market replay. I just want to see if it can touch that volume. I'm willing to miss the entire opportunity to touch this as immediate rebalance. But I want to see it try to get up in here. Let me show you. This is what I was looking for. I wanted to get up into at least that line. And it's okay if I don't get it. And it runs off because I really want to be seeing the market go lower anyway. We have a volume imbalance right there. I don't want to add to it there. So that's good. That's fine. It didn't quite get to that low, did it? These 52-year-old eyes of mine. 17,101. And then the next candle's high was, oh, yeah, it was immediate rebalance. So it was a perfect immediate rebalance as I was describing it, but I was being a little too overzealous about trying to get that entry there on the volume imbalance. And that's sometimes what happens. All right, so we have the market trading into a inversion fair value gap right now. They're always orange. Okay, so if you ever see on my charts a orange rectangle, it is denoting a inversion fair value gap. Negative means it's bearish. I anticipate it to be treated as some measure of resistance, real resistance, not retail nonsense. All right, and let's extend this out just a little bit. All right, so you're seeing the full Monty here today. I got requested to show the screen like this because they felt like I was somehow photoshopping. I mean, listen, folks, I appreciate that level of confidence that I'm able to do that much in terms of deception. I mean, to get the candlesticks to show everything matching where the separation between the time on TradingView in the lower right hand corner and the time axis on the price chart, and all of these price fluctuations, everything moving and shifting as it would if it was being done really like it is being done here. The level of denial that some of you folks that are in the comment section, it's not much. I'm talking literally 2 or 3 every time I put an execution video up. They're all new accounts too, or accounts that don't have any content on them. So to me, it's, you're a nobody. But I'd like to see it trade up into consequent encroachment here. See, I left that fair value gap right there in the midpoint of this gap here. We want to see it treat that as resistance. And that can completely come back all the way up here and then go lower. It can even go above it and have a little mohawk, which is color outside the lines on the upside. It can do that. I'd like to see it do that, at least middle point, because then it shows it try to go there. And then if the price engine rejects it and sends it lower, once we get below here, then I'll take the stop down to cover costs, which would be lowering it from where it is now to get down to here. I'm teaching through the medium of a demo account because I'm not licensed to give trade advice, and it is going to be used to teach my son. So it's for that very reason. Whenever I'm teaching over live executions, it's always going to be done with the demo account because I don't want to get myself in trouble. In the United States, they take it very serious. I know some of you say, oh, this guy does his live trading. That's him. He's willing to do that. He doesn't have 1 million subscribers almost, where I'm a bigger fish. If they want to hook me in the face, and make an example out of me, because I'm a much bigger fish to fry versus some guy that's doing nothing with a small audience, it won't be that impactful. So I try to do things on the up and up. And even if it means that you don't like me because I'm not trying to do it live or tell you when to get in and get out, I'm not going to operate as a trade advisor. It means I'm operating as a financial advisor or a trade advisor, and I'm not a CTA, which is a certified trade advisor. They are all regulated positions in the United States, and I'm not going to open myself up to the liabilities that come along with doing those things without regulation. So there you go. Now you have the full real reason why I teach through a paper trading account. If you can't do it on a paper trading account, you sure as hell are not going to be able to do it with a live account, right? And if you really want to see a live account, because people say, I don't ever execute, I've never called anything live in a live stream. One particular person left a comment in saying that real mentors call the moves on non-farm payroll and execute. Well, go on my YouTube channel, search non-farm payroll live execution, and you'll see me outline the candlesticks individually and execute, and I do a trade. I manage it. I put the stop losses there. It's all in front of everybody that was watching. At the time, it was like 60,000 people watching. Okay, so please stop talking to me about nonsense. You don't do the research. I've shown a live account that I logged into on TD Ameritrade, showed every single day's results, every entry, every time and date stamp, everything. I went down to 30% drawdown because my student asked me, can you do this? Yes, I did that. Go and ask your gurus to log into their account and show you the last 30 days, the last 3 months. I did last 3 months when I did that account. I made over 100% with trading one contract in the NASDAQ, with lots of losing trades to prove to my students, losing trades do not end you. But losing trades that cause you to lose your mind and try to get it all back, that's what causes you to go in a tailspin and blow your account. So, listen, folks, I've done more than any other person out here that's educating to prove, number one, I can call every individual candlestick, whether it be a 1 minute, 15-second chart, a daily chart, weekly chart, a 5-minute chart, 15-minute chart. I've shown executions. I literally type out what's going to happen in the 1 minute candlesticks. So I have to have a visibility of knowing what it's going to do beforehand, and then have the timing of being able to type it all out, annotate the chart as it's happening, and I'm not using market replay. These are all real-time things that are happening. So here's that mohawk I was talking about. It can do that little bit of coloring outside the line. That's completely permissible. And to prove it, here I'll add 5 more contracts right there short. Stop has to stay where it's at. and that's still basically 2%. Go back to the account. It's 100,000. So if it stopped me out, it's basically 2% right here. Or is it not here? Yeah, it's 2%. So if it stops out and a loss occurs at $2,000, 2% of $100,000 is what? 2%. So here's that volume imbalance. I remember I told you I wanted to see it touch that. It just did that. And I really like that. So let me just add 1 for the sake that it's in there. And I apologize. I don't have the executions showing the price. But you can't do this with market replay. You can't hide your stuff. Okay. But what I was saying was, for the folks that listen to people talk about how they took $39 to $100,000. Come on. Seriously? You believe that? But there's people that are getting rich selling courses trying to convince you that that's possible and that you can do it in a couple months. Come on, man. The regulators need to go after these type of people, right? But ask them to sign into their brokerage firm, a real regulated brokerage firm, not some offshore shell company that isn't really existing, and those orders aren't going into the marketplace. Whenever they're showing you like their MT4 screens, that's all fake. It's all garbage. If they can trade, they'll go into a regulated broker. And I've done that. I've done that in 2 instances. I did it with AMP Global, which is a futures broker. I'm not repping them, but no brokerage firm is perfect. But I did TD Ameritrade when some other YouTuber claimed I would never do that. I did it. And I logged into the account. And I showed every single thing that I asked her to do. That didn't happen. In fact, she went missing. The level of denial that other traders and other educators that go in and they sock puppet in my comment section, they will do everything they can to avoid you holding to accountability them and their results. Because if they can really trade, they'll show you. They'll gladly show you it. But when they block you because you have been asking them, hey, log into your brokerage firm. Let's see a day-by-day transactional log of what you do, how you trade. Do you take losses? Do you come back from those losses? What is your measurement of leverage? Do you trade recklessly? Okay. Are you using the very concepts that you claim that you use? And if that's not there, well, there you go. You have someone that is probably not worth listening to, right? And it's a very simple, efficient, and cheap way of proving yourself as someone worth the salt that you claim you are. And frankly, I think it's needed. The industry is dirty right now, and more than it's ever been. There's so many people out there pretending to be knowledgeable, pretending to be schooled and versed in reading price action. And you've seen them. They come out there in their live streams. They blow their account. They delete the stream. They make up excuses why other people are frauds and fakes. But the people that they're claiming are frauds and fakes are the very ones that are coming out, bringing the receipts, and having the largest student base with profitable students with real results that are absolutely third-party confirmed. Okay? So when you go into 2024, it's real important that you filter out all the noise. Okay, filter out all the noise, filter out all the negativity, and make trading and your development your number one goal. If it's drama, it ain't worth your time. You like drama? Watch soap operas. All right, so now I want to see price go back below this inversion fair value gap. One of the things that you're going to discover about the last few days of trading in any given year, it will do a lot of things that break the rules that you're used to. Okay, that's why I kept my stop loss well above the initial high today, and leaving it there as a new trader, you think, wow, to lose $2,200 if you had that in your account. Well, first of all, let's get one thing straight: the chances of you learning how to trade and then going out and feeling comfortable putting $100,000, let alone you probably don't even have $100,000 to put it in the account, but to worry about that is a waste. Okay, what I'm doing is I'm teaching you risk, the management of risk, and also teaching you managing the characteristics that the market will employ on these types of days. These are days when you don't want to be trading. Okay, I like to take myself away from the marketplace the week prior. So basically the Friday before in the United States we have the celebration of Thanksgiving. That week of Thanksgiving, I'm not trading at all. But this year, I have maintained a level of connection to the marketplace because I have a goal for 2024. So if I step away from the market for several weeks or a couple months, like I normally would do, I might get rusty, okay, where I don't feel like I'm in tune with the marketplace. So I have been every single day employing some measure of connection to the marketplace because I need to be dialed in. So when I start my trading in 2024, my goal is to reach the goals that I have set forth for myself and not need that normal 1 week or 2 weeks of getting back in the swing of things and working off the holiday rust that comes with taking time away from the marketplace and not trading. And, we'll see what we get in terms of what the market wants to provide for us for volatility and setups for next year. But I think it's going to be ferocious. There's so many things that are on the horizon that's going to cause the market to be absolutely wild. So I'm quite certain it will be eventful in 2024. So you can see how we went above the volume imbalance in here. Okay, so all of this, but we did not take out the high. So that to me is constructive. What we're seeing is how these smooth relative equal highs here, they were made jagged. Rallied above, rallied above, rallied above, rallied above. So everything above these highs here, look at it like this. Okay, we have this price action all through here. All of this should be viewed as smooth being made jagged, and we'll shade it like this. Okay, so all of this price action inside this shaded area that's in like the pink hue, all of this is a suspect rally. These are all suspect rallies. Not something to be thinking, oh, it's going to go higher. None of this is selling the idea to me that it's going to go higher. What it's doing is it's knocking out traders that are trying to establish short positions. And let's say I get stopped out. If I get stopped out, I'm going to go right back in with half the position. So right now I'm holding 12 contracts. If it stops me out, I'm going to look for another opportunity to get short, not because I'm forcing my will in the marketplace, but because I'm teaching that this is something when I'm observing that they're just running up there and taking that level of stop out. Because if it does that, if it does run up there and hit my stop, I think it's going to aggressively break lower and break fast. And it may not allow me to get inside of this range that's shaded in pink, where I think is the premium. And all of this low here and this low here, they will aggressively run for. So all that's in here is just time distortion. They're holding price in this area here with the expectation that it's going to lead traders to want to be a buyer. And as those buyers are coming in continuously, I don't need a depth of market to do that. I don't need level 2 data to determine that. I can read it in the price action. Retail traders are buying these things. Okay, they're buying it. Let's see if I can look at an indicator here. Okay, every time it's going to create an oversold condition, retail is going to be buying that. Okay, I'm not looking at these indicators like this. I'm looking at price action. And if we take this off and we put in stochastic, okay, oversold, crossed over here, they want to be a buyer. So with it crossing over here like this, okay, trend continuation traders, they'll see that as, okay, this is one more reason to get long. You, because you're reading classic textbooks, you think, well, this is in the middle, I wouldn't take that. That's because you're not a trader that's used momentum studies. But if this was in fact bullish, this crossover here would set up another reason to be a buyer. But it's not. Why? Because the market's predisposed to go lower. Smart money is going to be distributing their long positions today. That means every rally, they're selling into that. Every rally, they're selling into it. Every time a short-term high is taken out, they're selling to those buy stops or those breakout artists that want to be buying on bullish momentum. And they're going to see later today, as we get into the last 3 hours of trading, that they have made themselves a fool, because we will not be at these levels in the last 3 hours of the day. We'll be lower. Basically, I'm making sure you understand that it's going to be lower. All right, so I'd like to see it really fall out of bed in here and attack the sell side here. This is a very minor sell side liquidity pool. So my focus is primarily right there, and that's what I'm going to counsel you to focus there. So observe how price wants to gravitate to this level of liquidity, trapping all these individuals that are up here in that shaded area that are net long, or if they were short, they are now stopped out. And if they went back in, they keep getting stopped out. So now they don't want to take a short. So even when this thing starts to run lower, they're going to be like a deer in headlights. They're not going to trust what they're seeing, and it will run without them. And then they're going to be punching the air, getting mad because they didn't hold on to a trade that would have afforded them profitability as a short. And it goes without saying, everyone that's long is going to get punished because they're offside. Okay, so watch what we're doing here inside this inversion fair value gap. Okay, we're trading just at the top of that. In here, let me add one more because I'm going to prove to you that that's what's actually happening here. And we have 13 contracts. So let's take 3 off at that initial low. Right there. So when we trade down here, you'll see I'll take some profits. It'll be 26.25 or so handles on 3 contracts. But once it takes this low out and it partials me out with profit, then my stop will roll down to cover costs. But regardless of how the market behaves today, if it gives me an opportunity where it looks like I'm a superstar, don't look at this as an enticement to trade the last trading day of the year. You shouldn't really. You shouldn't be doing it. But I'm doing it so that way you have one more instance of learning from me before the close of 23, because I'm going to be quiet. There will be videos, obviously. You can see I'm uploading the charter content that was in my private mentorship. And the reason why I'm doing that, I'm not creating new videos. These are all videos that I released at that time. So you can see basically the date of the discussion and the time and date of the marketplace I was referring to at the time. They're all old videos, but people are trying to sell them to people that are just so wanting to buy it and get in. Don't do that. Just come to my YouTube channel and you can watch them for free. I'm going to release them daily and study them at that pace. Okay. There'll be people out there that want to try to sell it to you all in one big block right now. You're a fool if you do that, because I'm literally going to upload every single thing. There's no reason for you to be making these people rich selling my life's work. Okay. Because I'm giving it to you for free. It was abused. I had lots of people join in the last 2021 mentorship, and that's where the biggest form of piracy came. Okay. Most of those, pirates, I caught most of them. I still have a few of them that are in my mentorship right now, and that's why I don't make videos for them. I do not make videos. I allow them to ask me questions. I share things. When I do an execution video on YouTube, I will ask them if they have any questions pertaining to that. But there's no way anyone's going to sell anything from my private mentorship ever again, because I won't allow for it. And I've taken their meal ticket away. I've made many people around the world rich just by selling my videos. Because when I closed the door and said I'm not going to have a mentorship anymore, that created a demand. And that demand is insatiable, because they all know what I'm doing works. And it's nothing like anything they've ever seen before. It's not Wyckoff. It's not Gann. It's not anything like Elliott Wave. It's not harmonic. None of that stuff. And nobody else can do it to the degree that I'm able to illustrate it, because I authored it. So watch the sensitivity here at the top end of that inversion fair value gap. It should be respecting that. We shouldn't see it trade above like it did here. We shouldn't see it here, or any other subsequent candle should start rolling over aggressively. This is one more chance where smart money starts to really add into their short positions, is what's really occurring. But I take great pleasure in knowing that I'm denying these individuals of selling something they didn't work for, they didn't earn. They don't have any right to. And when they cry to me in my comment section or send me threatening emails, I want you to know this and listen closely. Go fuck yourself. It gives me great pleasure. And literally, I'm turned on by it that you're pissed off that I'm taking your ability to sell my stuff. I love it. I love it. Because whether you pay attention or not, I can do this and I don't need to sell mentorships. Okay. The proof that I don't need to do it is because I'm giving it away for free instead of trying to create new mentorships and selling new services and new things to get people to send me money. I don't need you to do that. Okay. I can sit out here any given day and do this every single day where you have to guess and make up excuses why your stuff didn't work. It's random. Price action's random. No, it's not. It's not random. I'm not a rando. Okay. The market is not rando to me either. So I'm in tune with price action. And if I do it wrong, I own it. I did it wrong. My methods are not broken. My concepts are not broken. The algorithm is not repricing and recalibrating to make allowances for the things I'm trying to do. And I have things that I haven't even taught and never will teach, that I have weapons that this world has never seen before. This is the least of the things I've ever taught. This is just looking at how the market will book price. But there are things that the market will see how it's working this volume of balance. Let me take a break from my jawboning here and add some more detail. See how it's working that? And I'm going to see it accelerate down below here and reach below that low and dig in. And I don't want to see it stall at the consequent encroachment of that wick, which is, let me show you. See that right there? I don't want to see it stall at that level. I want to see it pierce through. Don't even waste any time meandering around it. Go through that low. That's what I want. Okay, so the pleasure I'm having right now of seeing people that have been selling my stuff not have the venue to be able to do that anymore. It's delicious. It's really delicious. Okay, one more time to the bottom of that fair value gap or version of fair value gap. I'll prove it. Going short one more there. And when you're studying, you want to look at it like this. And while I don't have all the details on the chart when I'm trading without teaching, like I don't like having all this stuff on the chart. It's highly distractive to me. But I know you as students, you require these types of things because they're visual aids. And I know that there was a time when I would have really learned a lot by having this. So it takes a great deal of flexibility on my part to endure having this stuff on my chart because I don't employ it when I'm trading. But I also know that, it's beneficial to you. Let me scrub this over one more time so you can see how we worked, where this liquidity was. Okay. When the market's in consolidation, but it is holding a directional bias, which is bearish, when there is a pool of liquidity that's been purged, you need to extend them forward because they will be reused, just like a fair value gap. This is how you know the market's algorithmic. It's continuously referring back to this level here. Why? Because it doesn't know how many contracts are there. It doesn't know that. So it will continuously keep revisiting that level and sweeping above it, like it's done all through here. All through here, it's swept above. And the last time was right there. Okay. Because it's not aware of the number of contracts, which is always going to be a fluctuating number. It can't go back in time. Now think, for people that are programmers and have understanding, this is going to make perfect sense to you. But for the folks that don't understand programming or understanding how data and arrays are used for the purpose of drawing information to have a program perform a function or produce an output, this will escape them. But because there is a ever-changing amount of orders in any given time, if the algorithm, for the sake of folks that don't believe there's an algorithm, okay, if there isn't an algorithm, then you have to concede and say the markets are completely random. and it's all buying and selling pressure. Okay, put that opinion, that group of individuals to the side, because nobody's going to convince them otherwise. But for the folks that are on the fence about whether or not the markets are operated and ran by an algorithm, if I'm going to teach you the premise that, okay, if price is going to be referred to a specific price during a specific time, what time? 8:30. Well, 8:30 is here. Where was the liquidity at? Above here. It ran it, but just shallow, just above. This high went just above that by a little bit. And then it created this smooth area. See that? So the market's done what? It's instilled this sense of, well, this is resistance. So let's get short, sell off, but then reach and reach and reach and reach, because it started with this high. So the initial high that's using to build the basis of where is liquidity for the sake of running buy stops. That's what the algorithm does. And it's going to keep referring to that price point because it doesn't know how many contracts are resting above it during here. It doesn't know how many contracts are resting above it here and here in the form of buy stops. It doesn't need to know. It's easier to code it referring back to that price point right there for the purposes of defining where buy side would reside. See how easy that is? Now, from a tongue twister. From a programmer's perspective, that makes such an easy task for a coder. Oh, well, I don't need to do all the calculations. And how many times does it have to refer back to the price level here to see how many orders are there? How many times is it going to go back to this price? You created so many reasons for additional coding that's not necessary. It's not necessary. You just need to be able to define things by time, Dave. Things have to be done by time. So it refers back to this high right there, and it will continuously keep running that level right there continuously until it gets to a time of day where the algorithm will be permitted to spool and start running for the underlying directional premise that it's operating under. So all this is all building the context that retail should go long, and they're punishing anyone short. Anyone that trailed their stop loss here or here, they've been swept. The bodies I'm looking at in here, I want to see it kind of stay close to this inversion fair value gap. I'm allowing for a little bit more outside the lines coloring because it's the last trading day of the year and the last trading day of the month. But now look what they've done. They've maintained these lows right here. So what are they selling to the retail crowd? That this is support. See that? So this is retail support. I don't believe it's support, but this is where retail buyers place sell stops. And they anticipate price going higher. I don't. How retail sees this bull flagging. I don't. Additionally, let me leave it for the book. Oh, you're such a tease, as you think. Well, if I put it out here, what's going to happen is Joe Schmo and Sister Sin is going to be taking herself over to Amazon and writing books and putting it in there in partial form, and it's going to create a buzz, and it's going to feel like they have more insight because they were maybe part of a group of students that were not getting the same level of content that I'm making public now. They were getting super secret lessons, and they get clout when it was undeserved. So, like I said, there's a lot of things I'm reserving for the books. But you don't need those books to learn how to trade. I literally just gave you model 1 of the charter level, which is a complete rundown of what to look for, how to trade it, what the details are behind it, why it works. I'll give you algorithmic theory, how it works in concert with how the algorithm books and delivers price. And I gave you a complete trading plan all the way down to the money management aspects of it. You have zero excuses now. Zero. That's just an easy model. And it was the precursor to what you've seen and learned from as the Model 2022. Like I told my students, and some of them were all bent out of shape. Oh, you're teaching for free. You should have taught this in mentorship. And I told them, I said, I did teach it, but because you don't listen, you don't study, you don't even recognize it. So, I mean, come on. I mean, at some point, you're going to have to submit to the idea that you're being lazy and you haven't been a good student. So that's offensive to some of you. And I'll just leave it to you to work yourself through that. But you can see we did a lot of damage working in here trying to get people to buy it. So now what is it going to do? It's going to run against these retail longs that have their protective sell stop there. And what that will do is it'll be like rocket fuel to spur on more selling between these lows and this low. So you want to study how price starts to dig into this range here that will highlight in a light green like that. Okay, so there's layered sell stops because people that are long, someone's long from here, someone's long from here. They're going to eat into all this to get down to here. And then I would like to see it get below here and accelerate aggressively down below here. And because we have 14 contracts, let's go with one about here. Okay, so that'll leave me 10 contracts short. Once it takes this low out and gives me my first partial, the stop will be rolled down to cover cost and lock in. So right there, see what we just did? You snuck below right here. Now I want to see it aggressively expand lower. Big candles. And then it'll leave those traders here that are caught net long holding the bag. And the bag they're holding isn't the one that's full of money. It's the bag that has their money in it with a hole in the bottom of it. And it's going into the hands of the smart money. The guy talking to you. Oh, he's talking like he's trading with real money. He's got demo trading, paper trading right in front of everybody. He's teaching from a paper trading account because he doesn't know how to trade. Is the market behaving like I said it should? Of course. Is it giving you all the reluctance initially? Yes, because it's the last trading day of the month. Here comes that first partial, and it's going to book. Market's open, not market replay. And roll lower. It's working that wick. It went below it like I wanted to see it do, but this wick right in here, that's what it's behaving around right now. See what it's doing? See that? And there's our first partial. And here comes that rolled stop loss that covered costs. And here comes the other buy limit filling. And right below here, we'll take 6 of them off below here. Okay. It's funny how this stuff works, isn't it? It's almost like I know what I'm doing. It's almost like I do whatever I want without your approval. So whenever it gets that close like that and leaves it there, that like sells the idea that, oh yeah, this is the real support. So retail will come in and say, oh, I got it wrong. I just bought it too soon. Now let me go in here and buy it now, and I'll put my stop loss below that low. Exactly what they want them to do. And this needs to be a little bit deeper because it's going to run further. Okay, and you'll see me pocket a little bit more of this pseudo bread. These are one of those lessons where, when you see it done, it's real hard. See how it worked that volume and balance right there again? That's why I was saying look for it to roll and get these stops. But you won't appreciate this stuff, until you start doing it in your own hands and discovering, how the market absolutely is algorithmic. It's absolutely controlled. The difficult parts in what it is I teach, and what makes it hard for me as a teacher, because there's some things I'm not allowed to teach you. Those things are frustrating when I mention it, but I also have to mention it because you don't understand how hard it is to teach and create a language, knowing that there are areas where if I could speak freely, then obviously, it would be a whole lot easier for me to turn people out there, and make them profitable within a very short span of time. And the difficulty in overcoming a lot of the barriers that you have would be reduced, not entirely, but reduced notably. But if you're held to a standard, you are not supposed to do this. Okay. Years ago, I'm going to date myself, but I've already been very candid and tell everybody that I'm in my 50s now. So, years ago, Coca-Cola and Pepsi had a really, really nasty war with one another. It was fun to watch, but Pepsi and Coke's formula, Pepsi's like a real, real sweet, sickeningly sweet. When I was a kid, a child, I preferred Pepsi over Coke. Coke to me tasted too mature, it was like battery acid to me. So I favored Pepsi. And then Coca-Cola and Pepsi got into this feud where one said, well, I'm going to get as close as I can to your formula, because they had their formula. They had it. So they ended up creating a blend of the opposition's soda. And they said, here it is, new Coke. But it was basically Pepsi. People were like, what is this? This is basically Pepsi putting Coke's label on it. And Coke was trying to capitalize on Pepsi's recipe, calling it new Coke. But it was Pepsi. And it caused a lot of backlash and stuff. It was fun looking at it. But the things I know, okay, the things I'm not allowed to teach you, things I'm not going to ever teach you, they won't be in my books. So don't let that be an inspiration to buy my books, because I'm not teaching Enigma. I'm not teaching you all the things that I'm not allowed to teach in the book. It won't be secret messages and coded languages for you to try to decipher that. None of that is what's occurring. So it's just me codifying in print form. These are my concepts. This is the language I had to create that bridges the void between what you think you know about the markets and what people think that causes the market to book a specific way in delivery, versus what really goes on. You can't go back into anything. Not Wyckoff, not Elliott Wave, not Hearst, not harmonic, anything, nothing. Nothing can take you to the details like I've shown you here. The logic of using this high here and how the algorithm will reprice back to that time. That time is what it's referring to. That's how it builds the basis of, okay, I'm going to identify, I'm going to personify the algorithm. I'm going to make it like a person so you can understand what it is. It's thinking, okay, well, I'm going to go to this level here, and I will keep sweeping that high. Keep sweeping it over and over and over again. I will generate relative equal lows to get buyers that are less informed. Here comes my partial here. Stop teasing. You know you're going to give it to me. Come to daddy. Thank you so much, sweetheart. All right, so when it refers to these price points like this, it is eliminating all the difficulty over managing everybody's system. No matter what you do in terms of trading, if you're financially responsible, you're going to place a stop loss to protect your position. Okay? And every system, every methodology uses a protective stop on a short that's above some measure of a high. So what the algorithm does, it's coded to present it to you as a red herring. That this is the thing that you can trust because it's not going above it. So it's painting price action in the form of retail resistance, because that's what the books have done. What? They have poisoned your mind. They've given you a perspective on price action that is not true, but you're going to hold it and guard it and protect it and defend it against people like me that spit on it and say it's a bunch of bullshit. When it can't deliver this level of precision, this foresight, the understanding of what it's going to do, why it's going to do it, when it's going to do it, how it's going to do it. Look at the bodies of the candles here respecting the inversion fair value gap. You can't find that in Elliott Wave. You can't find that in Gann. It's not in anything else, folks. It's not. Look what it's doing. I'm surprised. Aren't you surprised? Look at this. Why is the market doing this? I'm completely shocked. I don't want to do that. All right, so we bought one more there. And my stop's staying way up there. You see that? Am I worried about getting stopped out? No. What happens if it reverses and shoots up there with a meteoric rise and stops me out? I'm going to feel like a fool, aren't I? No, because I've banked most of my position. I could care less, but I have something in here running, right? So I want to see it sweep the 40 level, and I'll have 2 contracts remaining at that point. And just a little bit more, honey. Just a little bit more. Get in the 30s for me. It's fun, isn't it? It's fun when you know the winning lottery numbers. Thank you so much. It didn't give me the 39s, but that's okay. It's close enough for government work, right? So when you look at things like this, and you're left with, well, he really wasn't doing those things that other people were saying. He didn't really employ market replay, and he really did call everything before it happened. And he really has only been talking about this one chart. So even if he did have 12 different laptops, which in Jesus' name I don't have, I don't have that. My attention span is so short. It's very hard for me to focus and manage the delivery of what it is I'm talking to you about when I'm doing these things. Plus, I'm having to look past all these annotations that you find helpful, but to me, they're very distracting because they're hiding sometimes, where my focus should be. And we're going right below that low. So I want to add one more exit below that because I want just one contract to manage and worry about. And I'm going to roll this now below this gap. Because if it comes back up here, I don't want to be in it because it's going to go up to this point here. So I've literally framed out the logic of what I expected to see happen in the marketplace. The marketplace has consolidated. It was all time distortion like I was talking about. When we got to 10:30, what is that? 1 full hour of trading. 1 full hour of trading. And just make that a notation in your journal because I will be talking about that extensively in the books. Because there's a measure of time that has to be implemented around specific characteristics and conditions in the marketplace. That has to happen after 60 minutes. Okay, opening bells at 9:30. Okay, 1 hour after that is what? 10:30 New York local time. And that's why you're seeing the market start to spool right there. Remember, I was walking you through, I said, look, they see this as bull flagging. I don't. Fake bull flags. That's what I teach in the core content. Incidentally, I've thought about doing a video, but I'm really not trying to do videos after this one. I mean, I have lots of videos that I'm going to be uploading, obviously, but they're already pre-reduced. I'm pre-produced in terms of mentorship level. You're asking me, how can you join my private mentorship? Well, this is what you do. You literally go to the YouTube channel and you go to the playlist that say ICT Private Mentorship Month 1. That's core content. You start learning there. And you go to Private Mentorship Month 2. They're all individual playlists. And you go through them at your own pace. You don't try to devour them all in one weekend or 1 week or 1 month. Do not treat it like Netflix because you will not learn properly that way. Okay? If you're looking for a hit the ground running model, you can do that with the silver bullet. You can do that with the Model 2022. If you want to know more details that were left out of the presentation that I reduced it down to just the bare brass in the 2022 mentorship video playlist, which was 41 videos. All of the details, the intricate details that were behind that model was my model number 1 in core content. And some of my private students didn't even recognize it. And even some of the other members that are charter, they were trying to tell them, he's already taught this. Why are you upset? Because they were mad I was teaching for free. They're like, oh, we paid for this. Like, literally, I gave it to you and you still weren't using it. You didn't do anything with it. But when other people are selling my stuff outright, just the video themselves, just selling it, they didn't go through the work of just at least making their own video and typing it out and making their own slides and doing their own video presentation and charting. They just said, I'm just going to sell what he's already done. That's why most of you that are scammers, they were asking me, can you give it to me in Hindi? Can you give it to me in Russian? Can you give it to me in Chinese and Japanese? Because then it would have been an easy thing for you to simply throw it out there for sale. No work at all. None. No. You want it in your own language, you can do it right here on YouTube. Do the auto translation and you'll see it come up in your language. Okay. But the idea of, saying that this stuff doesn't work, we're way past that now. We're way past that. And we're way past anything being able to falsely attributed to, oh, I renamed something. Tell me where I renamed anything in here. And if it's simply that, why aren't those people that trade like that able to do what you see me do? Why aren't they doing it? Why aren't they giving their stuff away for free? Why aren't they doing that? Because they can't. They need to survive on that. Okay. Mr. Whelan, I told you there was sell side liquidity below 17,000. You're about to see that deliver, son. Twist the knife ICT ever so slowly. As much as I would love to sit here and have fun and do this the rest of the day, I'm just going to do this and be content with it. Okay. Pay attention, Patrick, because you will be paying me that $250,000 if you have it. If you have it next Christmas, I'll come to your house. I'll even bring you a gift, a housewarming gift. Okay, it'll be delayed. You can let me sit on your boat. I don't want to go out there because I'll get boat sick. Was it motion sickness? But you're gonna have to name your boat Margin Called by ICT. You like that? It just comes off the cuff. I don't know where it comes from. It's a gift. I don't know. I'm rooting for you, man. You rag me all the time, which is fun. It's fun. But trust me when I tell you, you have no idea. So you might be looking at this thinking, wow, if you thought I was going to go to 17,000, why'd you take all those partials? Because I wanted you to have the ending that I just gave you. I wanted to close this year out with a little bullet point. When I say something, when I say it, I mean it. When I call for something, in my context, not yours, when I call for it, it will be delivered. It will be handed to me on a silver platter. Here it is, sir. Sorry for your wait. Not a problem. I'm not worried about what the market's going to do next year. I know what the market's going to do next year. I know what days of any given week what that market's going to do. It's going to do what it's coded to do. How many times do you have to see it illustrated to see who knows what? Who knows what? Who knows what's going on? When things are going to happen? You're listening to them. You're listening to them. But you don't listen to the advice on how to improve. And you make excuses why you don't want to listen. You listen to people making up bullshit documentaries that don't know anything, photoshopping, people that ain't even me, talking about things that I didn't even do, but ignoring all these things right like this. One account, one single account Bring yours, because it's going to be absolutely confirmed. There's no excuse. None. Not one excuse that you're going to be able to have to justify why anybody should be sitting on the sidelines and saying, yeah, none of that stuff's real. It's all made up. Or it's renamed. If it's renamed retail stuff, why isn't anybody else out there that trades retail able to do these types of things? Surely there'd be somebody out there that can do it, right? I mean, I've only been on this spinning rock for 52 years. Somebody has to be really, really good with all this retail stuff that I supposedly renamed, right? Why aren't they able to do what I'm doing? Where they outline it, explain every individual candle, why it should be presenting itself this way, why it should deliver this way, why it shouldn't do this, why it should do that, why it should do this by this time. Don't go here, but do go here. Go this far, but don't go so far. If it's all in the retail stuff that's supposedly already out there, and I've renamed it, if that's really the case, then why isn't there someone else out there doing this? They're not. They're not. You hear these people in live stream, you never see anybody else doing it. We're the only one doing it. This is the only one. We're the only one doing it like this. No. Stop. Hush. There is no one doing it like me. Like me. Okay? Like me. I've gone overboard improving. Everything that's everybody ever asked of me, I've done it. And I'm going to put the nail in the coffin in 2024. And some of you, and I have screenshot every single person that I was able to see that said they were going to join the Robbins Cup. I got it screenshot. And when you puss out and you don't join and you don't show up to the party, I'm going to be reminding everybody that you said with backhanded remarks about me or whatever it is I've ever taught, that you didn't do it. You couldn't do it. And the question is going to be is, why couldn't you do it? If you're selling your stuff and you claim to be an amazing trader and you're so profitable, why couldn't you find your way to the dance? When a real trader will show up. Now, I'm not saying that you have to break Williams' record. I'm not saying that. That's unrealistic. Not everybody can trade that level. Okay? But if someone really wants to make a point that, hey, I'm worth listening to, I have something that works and I can make money trading, they should gladly dance into that Robbins Cup and make themselves known. Even if they don't win, I think that that's respectable. Now, you all can't see the comments, but don't you think that, respond to me in the comment section, don't you think that that's something that would command respect from the audience and the community at large, as the trading community? Anyone willing to put their skill set in a third-party audited condition like that, whether they win it or not, doesn't that at least demand a measure of respect from the community that, hey, at least they're willing to do that? Not to people say, oh, I'm too busy marketing my other stuff, when this is the best marketing. It's the best marketing. It is the best marketing because it removes any doubt, because it's third-party audited, it's CFTC regulated. And when you say this is the only account and here's my account number, you've canceled out every unprofitable little bitch that wants to make documentaries and try to be another loser that can't trade, but wants to talk and flap their gums. When you show only one account, because that's the excuse already. If I win the Robbins Cup, it's because I figured out how to use multiple accounts. Fuckers, listen, it's only one account I'm going to use. And I'm going to have Joel Robbins literally say, this is the only account Huddleston used. Period. Shove that up your fucking ass. How's that work for you? Okay? But you're all going to say something. You're always going to have some excuse because you're a little bitch. You don't know how to trade. You are financially illiterate. You hate on everything because you suck. The people that talk about everybody else saying they can't do this and they can't do that, they're talking about themselves. They're literally talking about themselves. They're projecting. And in 2024, you need to cut that cancer out. Take that completely out of your attention span. Don't even give time or room for people like that. If they're toxic, cut them out. They're cancer. If they're not providing to you a measure of improvement or guidance that gives you a sense of empowerment, cut them out. Because all they're trying to do is monetize your attention through negativity. Who wants to have any part of that? The world's already negative enough. You don't need any additional bullshit. It's already hard enough coping with all the nonsense that's going on in the world. This looks like it wants to go a lot lower. Let me just stick to it. I'm expecting it to go lower than 17,000, but for the sake of brevity and being able to have this all on the same live execution in one presentation, then I'll just leave it at the 17,000 because that's what I called for earlier this week. I was in Patrick Whelan's live stream, and he, I guess he doubted that liquidity. It's all about knowing when it's going to do it, though. Okay, and when I say there's a liquidity point that I'm interested in, it doesn't necessarily mean I'm going short. It just means that's where my focus is. And think about the context here. We have last day of the year, last day of the month. The market has been on a wildfire run bullish from the beginning of December. And it's been one way. Like it's been railing one way. And if the smart money is going to take profit, what does that mean? They're going to be selling. So they're going to be selling what? Every rally, like I said, every rally is going to be a suspect rally. Every reason for you to anticipate some weakness, some inability to continue on the upside to manifest itself and then rotate lower and then start to see a rollover in price. And that's what you've seen this morning. All right, so I'm looking at this. We're in this inefficiency right here. Let me hide these things just for a second because they're a little too much. So in this area right in here, that's where we're consolidating. Let's do this. We'll keep it neutral. Because of the time, we're going into 11 o'clock, it can retrace a little bit and go outside of this area here. I'd prefer it just bump this, create a Mohawk, and then sell off, give me my exit, and I can sail off into the weekend and in the new year with a smile on my face. I already have a smile on my face anyway, as you can probably hear it in the delivery of what I've been saying all morning. But the level of retracement would be limited to, well, we have buy side here that's been created with this short-term high. I don't want to see it reach that far, admittedly. We have an inefficiency here, so I don't want to see it trade back there. This low back here, I don't look at that as support broken, now turn resistance. I don't think they need to come back up here. If I was making the market, it would never come back up to that level. I would just take it just a little bit above here and then sink it. That's what I would do, because you've already caught them with their pants down here, net long. So all these people that are long, bought their little bull flags, bought all their little breakouts, bought all their little, Fibonacci retracements, their bat patterns and, whatever. They're being punished. And if they're trading like some of the loudest naysayers without a stop loss and holding without a stop loss, they rode all this way down in drawdown. And they're really sick to their stomach right now. And I would further punish them by sending it careening lower. But that's the business here. I'm going to take all this stuff off because my son will be looking at these charts and I don't want to have any kind of visual representation of any of this because I want to see if he can see that in price action. What does it feel like to know with a great deal of confidence, not arrogance, but a great deal of confidence, that you have a method of going out there and harvesting a weekly salary, a daily salary, a monthly salary, a yearly salary, a lifetime, a legacy wealth, a millionaire status. What does that feel like? That's the question I have for all of you, because some of you are well on your way to observing and identifying that in yourself and your own ability. For a lot of you that are just starting out, that seems like an unreachable goal. It seems so far out of reach, like it's unattainable. It's unattainable for you. When it is, it just means that you can't see it yet. When I first started in 1992, I could not see the market like this because it wasn't presented to me like this. In books, it was teaching me the very things that I capitalized on fading in this very trade. All the things that you were seeing me do, I was fading the logic of retail traders. I was going against the grain of what they would see and what they would trust and what was being presented to them as a means of trusting pseudo support or resistance. As you can see, I do not trade support or resistance. I trade against it. I attack the very theory that it tries to promote. The mindset that it promotes in traders to make them feel like they can trust a level. I want them to feel like they can trust a level that I'm targeting, because that makes my trade high probability. I want them to feel caution and not want to take a specific trade in the direction I'm trading in and see things one-sided in their way only. Where if I can only see my trade and I see how the retail trade would fail in that same instance, I have a trade that's in high probability. If I can't frame my trade one-sided, then I can't trade that trade with the understanding of high probability in my favor. So in my definition, high probability trades are only defined as such if I can see the trade only going into one direction, one specific pool of liquidity or inefficiency, and there's nothing I can frame with context or any of my PD arrays that would give me the opposite side in another direction. That's the reality. If I can see the market like that, I'm all over it like white on rice. And there's nothing, like a pit bull on a pork chop, I'm not letting go. I know what I got is the right thing. And I will let all the retail traders, everybody else is trading all this other stuff, I'll let them believe their fairy tales and their religious viewpoints on price action. They can do whatever they want to do. I know I'm going to be triumphant in the end. I will be standing on skulls and spines and the residue of retail that thought they knew what they were doing. That's my outcome. That's how I see things. I see it like that. I see it as a conqueror. I see it as someone that is unreachable, someone that can't get to this level, that want to be in opposition to me. I see no one out there that can come close to this. And this isn't even the best that I have. This is just me casually sitting with you, just talking about something. I have weapons that I've never produced in public eye, ever. I have things that I can call in turning points so precise that it would blow your socks off. And you're probably sitting here with your jaw slack right now thinking, if I could just do half, yeah, you can do half of this and you can do everything I just did here today. That's what my mentorship lessons taught. That's what this YouTube channel teaches you. But see, you look at that little number next to the subscriber count where it says I have 540 videos or 541, maybe 542 now. And that intimidates you. Why? Why? If you were going to learn a martial art from a martial artist that you had a high regard for and you believe that they had a superior methodology of defense or, well, martial art. And they said, look, the only way you can learn properly from me is for me to teach you with an open-ended timeline where there is no, this is how long it's going to take. You show up as long as I want to teach. Would you be like, oh, well, I ain't got time for all that? If you are like that, you're like the majority of people that join, martial arts. They're the same mindset that join gyms to try to work out and get more in fit, more in shape, more fit, more muscular. They join the membership, but they never go. Or they cancel their membership because they don't have the discipline to stick with the idea that that's what they should be doing. So they don't get the results. So you've already convinced yourself before you even started that you're not going to be successful, but you're going to lie to yourself and say, well, I'll just test it out and see what happens. At least I get the t-shirt said I was part of that martial artists teaching. Like that's something to be proud of. It's nothing. You got a participation award. I never entered trading for the participation award. I wanted to get in here and literally be the best. I didn't want to be like someone. I wanted to be the best. When I do something, I want to be better than anyone else, and I don't want anybody else to be able to reach the level of what I do. That sounds like arrogance. That sounds like narcissism. That sounds like conceitedness. No, that's what I went into this with. Because in my mind, the smarter are the ones that win. And I wanted to be the apex predator in this. And I basically sacrificed everything in my life to have this skill set. I wanted to be able to see things that no one else seen. I literally prayed to God to give me the visibility to see things as they really are. And you tell me, is it happening? Because that's what I see every single day, every single week, every single day. And it won't stop. Think about it. How can you not be confident if you have this skill set? There's all kinds of things happening in the world right now, folks. There's a lot of people out there worrying about losing their job. There's a lot of people out there worrying about how they're going to make their ends meet. Let me tell you something. You learn this skill set, you don't worry like that anymore. But the problem is, it's important for you not to get so arrogant and conceited that you want to get rich overnight because you're good. Because you can be really, really good, and you're over leveraging your money management. That becomes your impediment. That's your roadblock. You don't want that to be a factor in your trading. So that's what I have for you today. I think we can get down into the 16. Well, you can get down to 16 eights. If we really start to move and sell off. But I wanted to spend a little bit of time with you today. Talk about some things, bring it to the forefront of your mind as we close the year, give you a little bit more inspiration, show you also for the folks that were asking. As a reminder, again, paper trading is for my protection. Okay, so for my protection, because I'm not a legal certified position or holder like a CTA, like I'm not a certified trade advisor. So when I talk about the markets, if I'm talking about it in this medium, which is paper trading, you can't claim a loss. I can't claim profitability where anything can be taken in the context that I'm trying to tell you what to do with your money. The only thing I'm telling you you can do is learn these methods, and then you determine whether or not there's any validity to it. It's a challenge. It's an open challenge for you to go in and see if the things I'm teaching are in fact in the marketplace. I have removed all doubts. I have students all around the world from different walks of life that literally are making money, and they're proving it to everyone. They're being interviewed by the people that are paying them out. They're literally releasing broker statements. They're literally making their way on leaderboards. They're getting payouts. They're getting consistent payouts. They're getting interviewed by the companies that do the paying out. Okay? Like we have created a phenomenon as a community. I haven't. You, as part of this community, you are part of a global phenomenon. You are in a Gann moment. Okay? You're in a Gann moment. You're in a Wyckoff moment. When those people were alive, they were not legendary. They were not legendary. You are living in a moment where everything has changed. The whole thing has been upside down now. It's been made upside down. I've turned the whole industry upside down because I've pulled back the veil and I've literally showed you what really goes on. And the cat's out of the bag, baby. Nothing can happen now to change it. It's already in motion. Sure. They can go after my accounts and run aggressive against me, but they can't do that to all of you. Who cares? I don't even care about money. I don't care about it. I don't care about money. If I had to go back to being just simple ICT before making money, you know what? I can be happy like that. Can you? Chances are probably not. I'm a simple guy. I'm a very, very simple person. I have a walk with God that I sometimes don't live up to well because of my inability to control my tongue, and I have a chemical imbalance. And that's not an excuse, but I can live simply and be content because I have the Lord. You are in this to learn how to do this. Maybe to make more money, maybe to impress your parents or your in-laws or your spouse to be, or the people you work with or your friends that said you're never going to amount to anything. I had all those same vigilante motivations in the beginning too. Okay. But when you put all that stuff aside and say, you know what, I just want to do this because I enjoy it. I want to do it because I enjoy it. And I know that it's going to be an investment in me as a person. And it's going to help me be a better person. It's going to teach me responsibility. It's going to teach me financial literacy. And as a default, it might increase my bottom line and net worth for the better. It might do that. But if you make that the first primary reason why you're doing it, and that's the deciding factor whether you stick with it or not, well, let me remind you, you're going to have a hardship in the beginning, and it's going to feel like it's impossible. But I promise you, if you stick with it, you'll learn things that repeat a lot of times over the course of a week, over the course of a month, over the span of the entire year. And if you keep your risk very, very low, you have the probability of being net positive. Now, listen to the words I just used there. That's not promising you profitability. Because what medium are we talking about? Paper trading. So with paper trading, you start like this, and each day is an individual case study, and you log it, and you go through the process of saying, okay, this is what I anticipated, this is what I was looking for. Did it yield to me what I expected, at least in the minuscule, smallest significant manner? Does it at least do that? Does it warrant my attention to continue with it? And then when you discover it does way beyond that, it inspires you to continue to do more and more and more and more. And over time, you get more confident because, hey, you've been here before. I've been here before. I've done this before, and that confidence, if it's managed appropriately, will carry you through a very long and consistent career. But if you don't do the framework of using properly a demo account, a paper trading account, for the purposes of seeing whether these things form and they're appearing in price action every single day, you won't appreciate it. You won't have the foundation to lean on when you do things incorrectly and it doesn't pan out for you. It's real important to know the difference between, if this can be done in a demo, in our live market conditions, that means that there's something behind it. And for the folks that try to lie to you because they don't want you to learn this, because they themselves, these people that are making these fake ass documentaries, okay, they can't trade. From their own demonstrations, they can't trade. And from their own mouths, they are unprofitable. They readily admit this, but they have an opinion about somebody, especially me. Of all people, you're gonna talk about me when I'm out here proving every fucking thing. I have the largest student base out there that has the most profitability, more faces with more payouts than any other instructor out there. Hello. Holla. I can come out here every single day and do this. Why aren't they? Why aren't they doing this? Why aren't they proving that they can trade? But they don't, because they can't. They want to tear down other people. And if you make a name for yourself on social media, this is going to happen to you too. Now, you can lose your mind and get all ate up with it and say, well, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. I've laughed about it because they're all comedy. They pretend to know something and they know nothing. They don't know me. They don't know anything about me. None of you really do. But one thing you're not going to be able to say is, I don't know how to read these markets and I don't know how to trade. Oh, I know exactly how to trade. I know exactly how to trade. But the question is, do you want to learn? Do you want to learn how to trade? Do you want to learn how to trade price action in a manner where you can feel comfortable and trust what you're doing has a statistical probability of panning out more times in your favor than not? And that's not guaranteeing profits. That's not promising you that it's going to work for you because you're going to take losing trades. You're going to. It's going to happen. You've watched me take trades and I've gotten stopped out. You've watched me had to reverse my initial expectation on the marketplace. You've watched me get stopped out and re-enter. It's part of it, folks. But many of you have this false sense of expectation, like you can somehow be the exception to the rule. Like it's not going to happen to you. You're going to walk out here and the market's just going to bend to your will. And believe me, at some point, all of us have that fairy tale expectation. But just please don't have that, and know that it's going to be difficult. It is hard because you're competing with yourself. It's a competition with yourself. As much as all these other people, these yahoos out there, that try to say, well, I'm going to challenge ICT and I'm going to do this. And you're going to challenge me if you get in the Robbins Cup. Otherwise, you're fucking talking out your ass. So let those results speak for themselves. But with all that said and put aside, you're literally competing with yourself. Always. You're always competing with yourself in trading. So you might as well warm up to the person who you are as a trader and not try to be an adversary to yourself, because that's exactly what people try to do in the early stages of their career, and they don't see it as such. They think that don't be a bitch. Don't be a bitch. Do this. Trade with real money because you can't learn in a demo, because they see other people clowning me because I teach in a demo when I'm being financially responsible. And I'm being courteous to you, and I'm also protecting my own ass. Who's really smart here? I'm covering all my bases, and I'm also still being able to do something that these people can't even do, even in the setting of a demo. Where's the logic in that? I've proven. I came out 2 years ago, and I said, okay, look, this is what we're going to do. I'm going to teach you for free. Then I'm going to give you my mentorship for free. And then now I'm going to give you my charter membership for free. And I'm going to bring the receipts. I'm going to produce people that are making money. And you see the payouts they get. Look at the comments. This is more money than I earn in a year. Right. What'd I say? You're going to make salaries. Okay? If they can do it, why can't you? If they can do it, why can't you? It's a choice you're making. You're making it harder for yourself. You are doing that. I'm not hiding anything from you. I'm literally giving it to you. I'm telling you what to avoid, how to avoid certain things that are problematic. These are pitfalls. These are snares. I'm trying to encourage you. Nothing brings you back to this YouTube channel except for the worth and the value that you've seen already by being here, watching the few videos. If you ever watched anything at all, if this is the first time you ever watched it, this stuff is taught to you. It's here in these videos, but it's in a manner where if you don't appreciate spending time with concepts and doing the work yourself, really putting the effort into it, trying to grow as a person, to be more, disciplined, to be responsible with the outcome and not try to fault me, my concepts, somebody else. You own it. You do it right or you don't do it right. And whatever the outcome is, that's your result. That's your result. That's your measuring stick. And that measuring stick is not obligated. You're not obligated to share that with anybody. Who cares? Who cares if they don't believe you're making money? Do you honestly think I lose sleep and thinking about how many people think I don't have money? You've seen where I live. You see what I drive. You see how I'm here on my own time, doing whatever I want to do, saying whatever I want to say without the approval of you. I don't care. I have fun canceling these trolls and these liars. I have fun because they're going to be sleepless. They're going to be sleepless worrying about me, and I could give two shits about them. What they're doing, what they say about me or my community or any of my students, it's irrelevant. Because if you mind your own business and you have your nose in the charts and you're logging and journaling everything that you're trying to aspire to learn how to do efficiently and consistently, then that means you can't see what they're doing. And whatever they're doing doesn't make a dent or a scratch in what you're trying to do as a learning curve. You giving your ear or attention to anybody that wants to talk negative about what you're trying to learn, and they are ignoring all the evidence, I could walk into any courtroom, and say, look at this. I could do it right in front of them. Just like you see me do live and just like you see me do here. Nothing. I'm not going to forget how to do this, folks. I'm not going to forget. Okay. The markets are not going to be doing some new shit next year. Okay. It's just going to be a faster market. That's all. It's going to be a faster market. And guess what? That means a lot of you are going to be afraid to trade in it because it's going to be moving real fast because you want to be trading big leverage, and big leverage is going to burn you. It's going to burn you. And you have to be careful. Lots of things. It's an election year. So many things are on the horizon. War drums are beaten. This country is going to invade that country. We have an invasion of our own. All these other things are going on constantly. And they're keeping you divided. And if you're divided and your attention is divided, that means you won't be focusing on what matters most, which is you taking care of your family and minding your own damn business. So I want you to think about these things as you go into this new year. Think about the idea that this is obtainable for you. Now, obviously, making 12% in one day in one trade is probably a little lofty for some of you in the beginning, and I understand. But you can literally do this, and it's been made available to you for free. And if you look at those number of videos and you think, I don't have time for all that. Well, if you were going to go to college, that's a lot of coursework, a lot of weeks of studying, a lot of boring lectures, okay? You see, here's the thing. For the folks that are going to uni right now, or in it, or about to go, you're placing your faith in something that you're going to have to pay a lot of money for and put a lot of time into. Learning to be a career-minded person in a industry, in a field, in a position that you don't even know you're able to be profitable in, or that you're going to be found useful in. I had a very high GPA, learning how to code, computer science. Like I literally poured myself into it from my 6th grade. I was learning how to code as a 6th grader. I did it because I wanted to do it. I went to the library and I got books on everything: high-level mathematics, programming, algorithmic, everything you can possibly have your hands on. I was interested in that. I wanted to know how, because I was watching the whole computer industry come up in my lifetime. It came up. We went from having mainframe computers and computers that were in the size of rooms. Okay, mainframe for the folks who don't know what that means is it's like a tape from one reel to the next. I was learning coding using mainframe operation. CICS, COBOL, okay? Those are the languages I first learned. Pascal, BASIC, those types of things. And then C++ came out, and it kind of changed things. And I wanted to be in the capacity of telling what the programmers below me should be doing. Like I would go to a client and say, okay, what do you need? Well, we need this system to do this. Okay. And then I tell the programmers, these are documents to work with to build the outcome that I'm looking for. And they do all the coding. I could do the coding, but I don't need to do the coding because I'm in charge of operating this development of that system for this client. So I wanted to be a systems analyst. That's what I went to school for. I knew this when I was in 6th grade. Now tell me what you believed you wanted to do when you were in 6th grade. See, there's a different mindset here. Total different mindset. So when I tell you something, I mean it. When I say something, I mean it. Because my attention, my focus, my time was invested in that. When I told you I was going to come out here and teach people how to make money, did I not do it? Yes. Did I tell you that I was going to go out here and run a mentorship on YouTube for free? Did I do it? Yes, I did. Did people make money with it? Yes, they did. Are they profitable? Yes, they are. When I told you I was going to release my charter content, is it happening? Yes. Then I told you I wasn't going to do another paid mentorship. Do you see me doing one? Nope. I don't have any time for it. I don't need it. I don't need to do those things. But everybody else out there somehow needs that. If you know how to do this, you don't need any of those things. You don't need to do those things. And any argument against that just fortifies the very evidence that you are only selling something because you can't make money otherwise. And I want you to understand something. I am so fucking rich that I don't need to trade ever again. I don't ever need to do anything again. I don't ever need to do shit again. Okay? So I want you to understand who's talking to you. I'm in a position where anybody else in my position wouldn't even waste time talking to you. They wouldn't be doing it. But I have a heart of a teacher because I prayed for that gift. I prayed to have the gift of teaching. And I know I fumble a lot. Like I don't do well sometimes when I really set my heart out to try to teach something, and I either listen to the playback later on or I get the feedback from people. They won't give me that measurement that I was looking for, that I was aspiring for at the time of that teaching. But there's no one going to claim that I'm not passionate about teaching, and I'm not always eloquent with the language, okay? Because I'm passionate about what I'm talking about. I want you to succeed. I want you to succeed more than you realize you want to succeed right now. Think about that. I have never been in sports in a big way. Okay, I played on baseball and lacrosse and soccer when I was a younger boy, but I've never been passionate about sports. Never had it ingrained in me where it was something I needed to measure up to. So I was always academically inclined, and science and math were like my specialties. I excelled in those fields, and anything scientific, anything technical, I loved it. I poured myself into it. For some of you, you might be sports inclined, social, animals where you try to avoid everything like that. And you see these markets as something that's going to be very difficult because of that very thing. And I've tried to teach in a way where it hasn't been 100% effective, because there's been people that have gone through my mentorship and have failed. And I'm convinced it's not me, because I've produced a lot of profitable students. I've produced people by taking the very content that some people have paid for, that some claim that say, oh, it doesn't work, blah, blah, blah. Literally, I took it out there and made money with it with real accounts. And then I went one step further and said, now I'm going to give it to the public and prove beyond the shadow of doubt it works, because in their hands, they're going to do it. And now it's all over the world. Think about it. Like, people literally are taking the concepts and making it their own, and it's their own model, and they're out there and they're making systematic, calculated decisions on their own. I'm not calling these moves. I'm not calling these markets. They're trading markets I'm not even touching. And they're finding profitability and taking money out of the marketplace. That's undeniable evidence that it's transferable knowledge. It absolutely works, and there is nothing fluff about that. And in 2024, I want to read your success. I want to see what you've done with it.